This is where that, all that's taking place.
Morning. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good, good.
What we got here.
I don't know where they got this. I'm gonna put up front. This one here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thanks. Morning, sir, how are you?
Good morning, I'm glad to see you.
Yeah.
Got his pen today.
Little thing, huh?
It's the first time I've had it like this. It's 40 years.
How are you? Good, how are you? Good, thanks.
We need, how many? We got
More plus the call out, we'll have a quorum, but Judy's gonna call in, she was on a few minutes ago, she's gonna call back.
Okay.
Brand's link to get here, then we'll call.
Oh, boy. Be up to you guys.
Yeah, it was showing the person having an infection personal results and then nothing. So then I refreshed it and then put it right in.
According to that clock, we should start. But we're gonna wait till we get a quorum.
We got 2 minutes.
My eye says that.
Hi, Judy.
I'll get my watch out.
Judy, are you there? I missed her. Hopefully she calls again.
Yeah, 2 minutes. That clock up there says 9 o'clock.
We need one more commissioner. Hello, Judy.
Hello.
Hi. We're about ready to
Okay,
start.
I'm here whenever you guys
What do
start.
we do?
Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm so sorry I can't be there.
By your microphone, and then they'll hear you. I hope.
Judy, this is Steve. If you
Hi.
don't, if you're rummaging around there, just put your phone on mute if you don't want to be heard, and then when you do want to be heard, just turn it on and tell us what you want to say.
Okay, there's nobody here but me unless my dogs start barking, so I'll just leave it on, okay?
Okay.
Unless,
No
I
problem.
don't think there's any other noise here.
All right, you're fine. I just didn't want to, for you to
Okay,
start
'cause I
making
don't know
funny
how to
noises and
mute
we
this
couldn't tell you
phone.
how to quit.
Yeah, I don't think I know how to mute it anyway, so I'll be quiet. Okay.
We're still waiting on one more person. We can't start till we have a quorum. You're the fourth and we need a fifth,
You
so.
want me to give?
Okay, I'll just hang on.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I like to start on time too.
Yeah. Get that seat up here. This is the only one we got.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it's right on time, you guys made it. We got a quorum and call this meeting to order. And glad to have you guys out. We haven't got a lot of crowd out, but we got a few of you. And we don't charge any more for the seats up here front than we do back there. So we'll get on our way here. First order of business is, approve the minutes of the August 16th, 2023 Planning and Zoning. I need a motion.
Move to approve the August meeting.
I'll second.
Second. Any more discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Not here, just two ayes?
Is all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the unfinished business. This item was tabled at the August 16th meeting, waiting for further information. It looked like we got the information here today. It's item number 4, an REZ number 884-23 and APM number 106-26-014. And it's got 015, 016, 018, 0131, 32, 35, 36, 1.89 acres. Request was made to rezone from the current CN neighborhood to R-SB residence site built to CM commercial manufacturing for the purpose of plant controlled self-storage. The parcel will be combined upon approval of rezoning. Who we got here to speak about that?
The applicant is here, Mr. Broderick, and I'm gonna start by going back to our minutes, if that's okay, and reiterating the 4 or 5 questions that you guys had last time so that we for sure get those answered, and then he'll come up and he can answer them one at a time, or he can try to go through all of them. You do have a site plan that he's provided for you, is that correct? Did you get that this morning? Okay.
That's just one here we got.
Yeah, okay. Morgan, if you want to come on up here and let's go through them one at a time. First question being, will there be a fence or a block wall?
The intention is not to have a fence or block wall, because if we build a fence or block wall at the property line, it's still only gonna be 3 foot tall. These are all gonna be indoor climate controlled storages. So versus what we're most used to seeing in this county is long storage buildings with rows of doors up and down each side, and yes, those need to be secured in with a fence. These are gonna have electronic access doors just at each end of the building, so there's less security needed for that. And again, there'll be electronic security controlled, so no need for a fence to detract away from the layout of the property, basically.
Which also makes the property, the mass of the property better usable. The fence is just in the way at this point, if all the doors for the individuals are on the interior. Second question, is there a site plan we can review, and you have that in your laps? What about the landlocked property? I think it's parcel 17.
Correct.
We'll let him go into that in a minute.
Yeah, parcel 17, according to the document from 1969, when the original maps were put together and this subdivision made, there's a 7.5 foot easement down the center property line there running north and south, which is a total of 15 feet that is allowed access to that property. That obviously would be allowed for, wouldn't be blocked off. I have made attempts to try to purchase that property, unfortunately unable to get any contact with them. So that would be the future goal, but for now, they would have a 15-foot easement down the center there.
And by today's rule, there would have to be a 24-foot easement in there, but because this was provided in 1969, it satisfies the process. will this just be storage units, or will he be manufacturing steel buildings?
Zero actual manufacturing will take place at this property. It's unfortunate that the name commercial manufacturing leads to that, but that is how storage units are required to be placed in zoning in Graham County. So it is only going to be storage units, climate controlled, no manufacturing. Correct.
He's right that we insist that storage be in CM, but CM also allows commercial manufacturing. So that was one of the board's question is, are we gonna have a bunch of banging and welding and cutting in a residential neighborhood? And I told them what I thought was it was gonna be site built, and once they've done constructing it, there won't be any more loud noises, so, but that is kind of a problem in our zoning, is we require these things to be in CM zone, but then once you get that zone, whatever's allowed in that zone is allowed in that zone, so it's kind of a catch-22, but once he has built it, then there won't be any, I mean, he's not gonna back up, tear it down, but.
We can put a rider on it.
And the board very well they may insist on that, and,
If anybody wants to put a rider on it.
yeah, and if you wanna put that in there as a suggestion, and the board might follow up with it, but, once he gets this thing built, there won't be really any way to do manufacturing inside there, but. And then the last question that you guys asked was, how will people maneuver? There might be one more question. I'll review that while he's answering that one.
So Concho, there's no turnoff of Highway 191 onto any of this property except for onto Concho Street there that runs east-west. And that is a fairly active street, but not too active. The plan is branding iron there, borders to the east side, would for traffic flow to turn onto branding iron, which is very not traveled at all, and be able to access the units from that direction, so from the east.
So his access will be from the least traveled road in there, which is probably a good thing, and it's accessible from both ends, so I think that's probably the best answer we can hope for. The last question was from Mick last time was how can we better notify, and we already kind of went through, we got to stick to a standard there, so. If you guys have additional questions, feel free to ask them or let him present or whatever you.
I just have one, was there any, last month I don't recall, was there any opposition last month?
There was a letter sent in at the last minute from a neighbor to the south, and he sent in a petition with him. And as I explained then, the people who signed that petition were renters rather than owners. And so they did not get a letter. The letter went to the owner of those properties. I can't remember, it was three signers on the petition plus.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Okay.
Renter
But they were not, there was nothing from an owner within 300 feet. But there were some objection to people that live there.
Okay, you got through the questions then.
Yeah.
If you guys got any questions? Mark, you guys? You got more discussion?
Yeah, so,
On the easement, are you looking to enter off of Concho? Is that what I'm reading right?
For the easement for the property that I don't own, that's how it's laid out in the covenants and the map from 1969. That's their legal easement.
So
Oh, yeah, but to access the storage units would come off.
that's where
Brandon.
you come off of that.
Right. I have to leave them that easement there. I don't know if I could legally change that, so that's the way I left it.
Have you been using that easement?
So is it just the one?
Have you been using that?
No, I have no need to go to that parcel that I don't own, so, that easement's there. Right now, it's basically all just desert scape still, so like it hasn't had any clearing work other than lot 18, so.
Gives you heartburn.
Okay, you guys got any more questions?
What's the, on lot 31, what's the 25 by 120 square there?
That's the proposed storage building.
That's where you-
Yeah, sorry, I abbreviated it, CCSS, Climate Controlled
Okay.
Self-Storage.
And then, so you'll have the retail sheds. on this one.
That's.
Okay, anybody else got any more questions?
I motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay,
Can I interject something here? For those of you in the audience that maybe aren't familiar, we're a 9-person board, and a quorum requires 5 persons. So Judy Moats is on the phone to make our quorum, so that we didn't have to move this down another month before it could be heard. So if you hear her voice, it's just coming from a phone, and she is paying attention, but she went way out of her way to make sure this meeting happened.
okay. I guess, who's gonna represent the Hards? You're gonna do that, Jim? Get up here.
Just read it again.
My name is Jim Bryce.
Okay, I'm gonna read what we're gonna, have you got an agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're gonna do number 4 first.
Five.
Just do
I mean, 5. The REZ number. the
You're gonna do
8,
5 and then
5,
6 and then 7?
23 and APM numbers 105-28-050.5.7 acres. Request was made to rezone from the current A to CM commercial manufacturing, the future development of 5 commercial warehouse laydown yards. The requesters are Ronald and Jay Howard. The property is just off Safford Bryce Road, located east of Butler Wharf, west of Watson Lane, south of Graham Canal. Okay, so take that one out.
Okay. Well, there is a definite need for storage facilities. I mean, I just heard storage facilities, but warehousing, storage facilities in our valley. We were approached by a company that needs to warehouse their mining supplies, and we want to be able to provide that for them. In order to do that, we got to have a warehouse, and this is a good piece of property to put it on. It's not farmable. It's right on the county road. Access is very good for it, and it's a highest and best use of this property. Be happy to answer any questions. Do not really have a site plan right now because we just have one customer right now, and we will build warehouses according to what the customer needs.
What's your access point gonna be?
The access point will be, there's a road to the south right now, on the small road. The access point will be right there. On the north, well, we're not talking about that. I think we're talking about the south parcel right now. Yeah, the south, the very south piece. There's an access, there's a road with across, that goes across the canal right there. That will be our access right now.
And that goes up and that'll adjoin to the paved county road?
Yes, that'll adjoin to the paved county road. About this is not even.
You got her up there. Okay.
So Steve, we got 3 of them there,
What-
right? It looks like they're gonna be going back to back.
Yeah.
Where are the other 2 compared? And the one on the north side of the road? Okay.
They're all basically connected together.
Except the county road goes through, right? And the canal goes through, so it's 3 different parcels.
And they'll all share the same, well, the 2 on the south side will share the same egress onto the.
The one on the north side is yet to be determined, but we'll be happy to work with whoever we need to work with to make sure it's, everybody wants a safe access, but there's that whole area right there.
How far is the home?
I'm just clarifying if, each parcel could have its own access,
Right,
but I'm just wanting to know what the intentions are. If
That's-
they're going to
that's the
share
intention.
access, or if they're gonna have separate
that's the intention right now.
or individual.
They're gonna have, the one on the north will be separate, of course, because
Yeah.
it's on the other side. This one, there may be.
How,
Access right here to this one. And this will be the access to this property. All right, so here's the access to this one. It'll be down through there. The access to this one, the plan is to put a building right here, and that access will either be from here, and then if there's enough room and it makes sense, we may want to put a building here, a smaller building on this side, and this parcel will, depends. But it depends on what size of buildings come and, how much property we need for each building. Of course, the access for this one will come from here. I mean, that's gonna happen. Here, the access will be off the county road.
Sure. Eric, because you were in that meeting with the board and heard their questions, would you just kind of go over what they expected of you maybe? Or of the hour?
Yeah, so there is some sight distance issues on this curve, vertical, horizontal curves. So it is something, like Jim said, they're gonna have to work with the engineering department to determine the safest point of ingress and egress on it. So whether it is in the middle or if it's not, it's something that they're gonna have to show on a plan and bring it before us and possibly get an engineer involved to show that it's the safest point, so.
So where are you located on that map?
Sorry, I'm in the engineering department, sorry.
But you did all the location of the houses?
He's with the county.
No, yeah, sorry, I'm with the county engineering department, so we just looked at this the other day and talked about ingress, egress, and so that's just something, there is sight distance issues that they'll have to address at some point.
What about water flow? Isn't there a couple washes coming in right there?
The Butler Wash comes right down to there, but this is not in, maybe a little piece of it, maybe in the floodplain, but the vast majority of it's not in the floodplain at all.
Will it change
It
Will
won't
change
change
the
anything.
direction of
No.
the way the water flows? So that part's the floodplain?
Have you got a prospective building?
Yes,
Have you already?
Yes.
So you guys are ready to go?
we're ready to go. Yep. And they're ready to go. They want to put in a deal. They're ready to go. We're ready to go. We just need you guys' permission.
Well, it looks like to me that we've, discussed all of these, all three of them.
Yes.
So, do we need to go over each one of them?
We need to vote on them separately.
Yeah, we'll vote on separate, but. That's up to you. Yeah. You know, I hate red jam tape worse than anybody else, but they told me I had to read these things every time. And, I don't know whether it's a law or not, but we're gonna eliminate it today. We're gonna do number 5, we're gonna vote on number 5 right now. Have we got anybody here wants to talk?
The neighbor does.
That's the paper we brought you.
Yeah,
He wants to speak.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm the neighbor right there closest to this, but we've been out there for 30-something years. I don't have much of a problem at all. I just got a few questions. Where would you start? Where would the first buildings go up?
First building would go up.
Or what's the plan?
At this time, first building would go just south.
South of the canal?
No, south of the road.
Right in that area first? And then your thought would be go to the other? Not that it matters, I'm just curious.
Then we would try to, just depends on what somebody wants. If somebody, of course, wants a lay-down yard, then we'll have to go down to the south.
What does a lay-down yard mean?
Well, like if they have pieces of equipment that they want to put.
Just drop down there or whatever. And the road coming in on Watson Lane, you certainly would never try to access anything over that canal or anything, right? That hard turn right into the property? Okay.
Let me throw something in there. That's, unless a traffic engineer said you had to, we'd go with what they want. But if a traffic engineer were to say that, you know, the sight distance isn't right and they need to use Watson, then they would have that ability, but that's not their intention.
Not our intention, but if,
I'm just worried because they're doing that chip seal and a bunch of trucks trying to turn hard right there. Seems like it would rip that up pretty good, pretty fast in that. Yeah, and then they've even patched a couple holes in that culvert already that have cracked through because of whatever, so just a bunch of trucks going over that would scare me, but, what else was I gonna ask you? Sorry, forgot right now. Oh, it's the same concern as with this gentleman that presented first, is change the zoning and then you can do whatever. And I know what you guys are saying, if it's shell buildings with little traffic coming in and out and no water, I personally am totally all right with it. But that rider you talk about, is that something that you guys would be willing to be fine with, or does that scare you because it limits you on what you can do too?
that's scary to us because that would limit us. Right now, I mean, that's where we are right now. But in 10 years from now, I don't know where we, you know.
I know it's the catch-22 between the owners and the people changing the zoning. I've done zone changes myself, and you want all the freedom that comes with the new zone, and all the neighbors don't. Because again, the plan sounds fine. I have no problem. Would you put a fence up? You said you would probably put fences around stuff.
Well, on this initial one, they want to send all stuff in mail.
Chain link fence, and you'll do one parcel at a time, or would you wrap those two together maybe with a fence, or who knows, because you got the canal. Just the one piece or somewhere on that parcel. Okay. Well, that's my only concern, is that, again, you get a manufacturer and they're banging and doing too much, but I may be gone by then anyway, so,
Let me tell
sure, I get it.
let me tell you what I learned of all these years I've been on planning and zoning. And it's a hard lesson. I've always wanted, you have property rights. Everybody should have their property rights. Want to do what they want to do with their property rights. And finally come to the conclusion, we've had people come in and say, well, they're gonna build something here and it blocks my view. I've come to the conclusion that property right should override that view. I hate that thought, but if you think that over about property rights and views, and now the only thing I say here is we're mixing the commercial with the other, but I say that if you want to protect your view, you buy as far as you can see.
It's not the view I'm worried about, but I get what you're saying.
That's what I've come to the conclusion, that it's a damn poor, bad statement to make, but I've learned that there.
I get it, and I respect property rights. I will tell you that our other neighbors just, and the concern is you buy a property knowing the zoning around you, and then when it changes, that changes what you bought too, but.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and that's why we have these meetings, right? So.
Okay. Can you live with these guys?
With these guys?
Yeah.
I've been living with them forever out there.
I know, but what they're trying to do.
They're all great friends, and I have no problem with these storage units. I really don't. I wouldn't love if they're welding and doing this and that and the other, but, and I get right now they're telling me they're not gonna do that, but I appreciate Jim's honesty that they don't wanna look me in the eye and say they'll never do that, but it'd be nice if maybe the writer could say something like they'd have to come at least to another planning and zoning meeting if they're gonna change the plans or something. I don't know if they'd be willing to agree to something like that, but that's all my concern is. Otherwise, I think it's great. I think it'd be fine. They're not pumping water out of the thing and have a few trucks going there. There's tractors going there all the time. I don't have a problem with any of it. So the plan as is, I'm totally all right with it. But anyway, and like I say, if it's 10 years from now, I may not even live there, and I don't care what property.
If I could, I want to interject one other thing in there. Yesterday, I believe it was, you got a last-minute letter from the Porters.
Yeah.
Who threw his name in their letter and said he also was against this, but he's here in person telling you he's not. So just so that, I think, I'm pretty sure that he had gone out of his way to tell me this already before, and now he's here again. So the fact that they have said he's against it in their letter, they don't get to speak for him. It's just all
I appreciate that, because I saw their letter too, and I didn't say anything like that, so I'm all right with it. That's my concerns. My concerns are coming off of Watson and potential differences in the future, but besides that, I know every one of these guys are good people. I like their plan. I think it's smart. And the view has absolutely nothing to do with it. I could see nothing that way. It used to be a bunch of trash in there and mesquite trees, couldn't see anything anyway, but. And I'm sure with the engineers, they'll build it in a way where they don't obstruct the traffic, because that corner is kind of crazy just because people fly around that corner. Maybe the county could lower the speed limit through there or something, I don't know, just to slow some people down or something, I don't know. But anyway, that's my 2
Well, you
cents.
don't know what slowed down. I live out on Highway 70.
What's that?
I live out in this is talking about zoning. I live on Highway 70, okay? When they bought that place, the Larsons bought that 40 acres. There was no roads there. No, they had to go to Somerville up the road and everything. So we moved the Sansamon out of the way, and then the road come through, just a road. Then the county took over, and then the state took over. And now they come, I have to slow down to turn into my house. And I damn near get clipped every time I come from Stafford. Them guys are coming about 60, 70 mile an hour. I know what you're talking about, the highway, but this is what happens in our community. And I just have to live with it.
Sure.
Yeah, we just have to learn how to live with it.
And I'm all right with that too. I just know if a big semi's pulling real slow off into there or something, some people come flying through that wash pretty quick, it might cause a
Yeah.
problem, but even a speed limit change probably won't change that out there anyway, so. You
Well,
wanna ask me something, or you wanna? I'm done, thank you.
My name's J.R. Howard, I'm Ron's son. So I just wanted to point something out. This whole parcel right here used to be just one big mesquite patch, huge mesquites. And we've cleared it out, but before, you actually couldn't see this right here, so it was pretty dangerous. So we cleared it all out, and now you can actually see the traffic coming. So I just wanted to point that out.
I just want to comment to that you've done an excellent job, because that's where the accidents happen, is you couldn't see around that corner.
Right.
And I don't think you can build a building down close enough down in there anyway, because that's where all the water goes, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Does anybody have any questions for him? He's really the developer.
Oh, I think we.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public there wants to talk on that subject? Okay, you guys got any more? Okay, we're gonna do, vote on number 5.
I guess the porters were within the radius, 300,
No,
they're not.
no.
Is anybody that opposed it within 300-foot radius?
That was the only letter we received, and
That's the only one in
they're too,
Black Side.
they're too far south, actually, to, I mean, they are a neighbor and they matter, but they are not within the 300
I
feet.
wanted to clarify, anybody, you know.
Let me, Rebecca, they didn't receive a letter, did they? No, they sent a letter in opposition to the trailer parks that they wanted to do there too, but they were not noticed because they're not within 300 feet.
Okay, thank you.
I'll tell you, I've been on the planning zoning for a long time. And we wanted to, when I first got on the planning and zoning board, we went down to Central. We were gonna figure out how to, because nobody knows where the property is. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Nobody knew where their property was. Nobody knew what they wanted, 1 acre lots, 5 acre lots, or nothing. So we thought we'd go down there. Jim Mosier and I, we went down there and we called kind of a public meeting. And Jim and I, damn near, we thought they were gonna run us out of there with a damn, none of them wanted to cooperate and everything, so it killed our incentive to try to take areas and say, okay, we're gonna have commercial here and residential here and there. So we go back to the old property right, what you want to put on your property. That's why we've been operating the way it is, just, if we could draw. That's my wife's real sick, so I thought maybe that was a call. But anyhow, someday in this county, we're gonna have to do something like that. that, to eliminate some of the stuff that we're having right now. So let's come out with a motion.
I'll make a motion, for a favorable recommendation, acknowledging that, the current plan is acceptable to the community and fills a need. However, also, suggesting that were the full potential of commercial zoning to be realized there in the future, if somebody wanted to really go into manufacturing, and that there may need to be a rider or some kind of a mechanism that they would have to come and revisit that intent and have it approved. I don't know if that's possible, but that kind of gives a little bit of perhaps protection against what you just would zone it for if it passed.
If that's seconded and voted for, we'll pass that on to the board and hope that they deal with it properly.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there we go. We're unanimous. Okay, I'm just gonna read these, then we're gonna vote on number 6.
Yes.
The REZ numbers 886-23, the 105-28-051, 3.86 acres. Request was made to rezone from current A general to CM commercial manufacturing for future development of a commercial warehouse. The requesters are Ron and Jace Howard. The property is between the Graham Canal and the Safford Price Road, located east of Hubbard Cemetery Road, Butler Ward, and west on Watson Lanes. So we pretty well discussed this, so I need a motion.
I think in order to make this legitimate, you have to ask if there's anybody who has anything additional and
Okay.
for or against before you can
Yeah,
go ahead.
got anybody out there in the audience?
No further questions.
Okay, no further questions.
All right, go ahead with your motion.
I would make the same stipulations, another favorable motion with the same stipulations, suggestions that I did on the
Okay.
previous.
Okay,
I'll
Second.
second.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Vote.
Confirm she's not
You confirm.
opposed.
Okay, we're going to do number 7. The REZ numbers 887-23, the 105-28-052, the 4.3 acres. Request was made to rezone from current A general to CM commercial manufacturing for the future development of 3 commercial warehouses. The requesters are Ron and Jace Howard. The property is north of Safford Bryce Road between Hubbard Cemetery and Butler Ward and Watson Lane. Same thing, so.
Ask if there's any.
Same thing applies. Need to see if there's anybody in the audience that has any additional information.
No.
Go ahead.
Motion,
I'll make the same motion with the same
have it.
suggestion, favorable recommendation.
you're gonna second it?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, we got Mr. Howard on the way. Okay, we're gonna set up a public hearing for the next month. The REZ number 88-104-13-007P. 2 acres. Request was made to rezone from the current A zone to CM commercial manufacturing in order to match up his connections with Thatcher. Town limits. Similar. The requester is Lance Layton the property in south of home and the business along south side of the Highway 70. Southern border is railroad track, the eastern border within the town of Thatcher C2, highway commercial property, and the MU mixed use with newly built storage units owned by the requester. Have we got anybody that's in here for that?
There shouldn't be. This is just to be set up.
Okay.
If you want me to tell you what's happening, I will, but that's not necessary.
Okay.
If you want to see where it's at, maybe.
Does it need a motion? Come on.
I'll motion to set it up for next month.
Second, okay. Any more discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that goes.
Aye.
Okay.
Steve, do you want, so what, is there any update on this hearing? As far as
On the one that you're setting up.
just set up, yeah.
If you've been around in Thatcher there behind Dave's service station, or what is the name of that now? Tyser's Automotive. Mr. Layton is building some storage units in there, and about 2/3 of the east-west is, sorry, we can't provide you a map, we're supposed to, but he's building those storage units, and the city limits is in the middle of that field, and he wants to continue to the west all the way to Fertizona's fence, but it's accessed off of Ray Lane inside the town of Thatcher. His property boundaries are from Ray Lane to the railroad tracks and up to the houses that front on the highway. He's proposing that he's just gonna do RV storage and stuff back in that back, but the zoning would allow him to build site built like he's doing right now. If you wanna go by there and see what he's doing, it would just extend it to the west. But because that 2 acres is outside the city, he has to come to us for zoning for this. And that's all he's asking for, is to be able to continue onto that 2 acres.
Okay, the next board, anybody that wants to go to the next, October the 2nd, that's when they'll be heard. At 8 o'clock, October the 2nd. And our next board meeting will be October the 18th, 23rd. Have you got anything about what happened up there?
There were no previous board meetings because we tabled the last meeting to this meeting, so there were none. I will tell you that in the meantime, I did present to the board a liquor license for the dollar store in Fort Thomas. Is that Dollar General? And it was approved, and we also approved a temporary liquor license for FMI's annual appreciation picnic at the fairgrounds for November 4th, but there was nothing specific to zoning.
Okay, anything else? Anybody in the public wants to speak out there? Nobody? We thank you for coming.
Thank you. Really appreciate you coming this month, so we don't have to the doctor.
Yeah. Well, I was.
Really, thank you.
When I read that letter, I started doubting about Mr. Bryce.
Oh, Judy's the one that saved, Judy saved this meeting.
Okay, we need to make the motion to move. Close the meeting.
To adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Is closed. We're through.
Judy, thank you. We'll let you go back to bed now.
I'm actually in bed, because I've had a hole in my head about the size of a dime.
I'm sure you are, so.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Appreciate you